Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems for GMAT out of this book here, the GMAT Review, the official guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You should be able to find it at mba.com. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 182, problem solving, number 225. Let's take a look at it. Number 225, it says if x does not equal to 0 and if x does not equal to 1 and if x is replaced by 1 over x, which is the reciprocal of x, everywhere in the expression above, then the resulting expression is equivalent to, alright. So here's the expression that they give you. There are two ways you can do this problem. You can do this problem in a classical way with the algebra, or you can just plug in a number for x. I don't know which way should I do first. Let's plug in a number first. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm just gonna pretend x equals 2. So what they want me to do is go in this expression, and wherever I see x, replace it with the reciprocal of x. Since I'm pretending that the x is 2, the reciprocal of 2 is 1 over 2, so I'm going to go to this expression and replace wherever I see x, I'm going to replace it with 1 over 2. Alright, so let's see what happens. If I were to do that, so I'm going to write down here. So now we replace 2 by 1 over 2 in this expression. So what we end up getting is, replace it by 1 over 2, so I end up getting 1 over 2 plus 1 over 1 over 2 minus 1. Let's simplify it. 1 over 2, which is half, plus 1 is 1 and a half. 1 and a half, which is 3 over 2. I hope you know that. Or if you don't know it, just do it out. It only takes a second. 1 over 2 plus 1. 1 plus 2, 3 over 2. And half minus 1 is negative half. So how do you divide if you have a fraction on the top and a fraction on the bottom? What do you do with it? Well, as I've explained in previous clips, you take the top fraction and you multiply it by the reciprocal of this thing. That's all. So let's see what it boils down to. It must be squared, I guess. Yes, it is squared. So I have 3 times negative 1 over 1, which is just taking negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And I was supposed to square the whole thing. So this thing should have been squared. This whole thing is squared. This thing, it was squared. And therefore this thing is squared. And the answer is 9. 9 is what I'm looking for, so I'm going to go through all my answer choices, and whichever gives me a 9, that's the answer. Let's take a look at it. Answer choice A. What does A give me? Well, interestingly enough, A is the exact same expression that they give you. So now I'm going to go to the thing here, and I'm looking for 9. That's our answer. Let's put a box around it so we know what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. So we're gonna go through the answer choices. We're gonna replace. We're gonna put, wherever we see x, we're gonna replace it by 2 and see what happens. So 2 plus 1 over 2 minus 1 squared. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 squared 3, and 2 minus 1 is just 1. Squared, there you go. We were looking for 9 and we found the 9. So the answer is A. Apparently in this particular case, the expression does not change when you replace the variable by its reciprocal. And the reason why, I'm going to show it to you why the value does not change. I'm going to do it here right in the middle here so you can see it. I'm going to do it in this area in the classical way. Let's see if I can find it. Let's do it in the black marker. So wherever I see, I'm going to replace it by 1 over x, see what happens. So 1 over x plus 1 over 1 over x minus 1. The denominator here, the common denominator is x. So I get 1 plus x on the top. Common denominator in the bottom again is x. And I get 1 minus x. And these x's are going to cancel out. Because when you take the top part and multiply it by the reciprocal of the bottom, this x is going to drop out. Or if you are unable to see that, I shouldn't have done that right now. Let's put it back. And I'm going to do it step by step. So it ends up being 1 plus x over x times x over 1 minus x. And this drops out. So we end up with 1 plus x over 1 minus x. And keep in mind that the whole thing, this whole thing is squared. This whole thing is squared. This is squared. This thing is squared. And this thing is squared. Since it's squared, 1 plus x is same as x plus 1. And 1 minus x is just negative 1 times this quantity. But because it's squared, it doesn't matter whether you write 1 minus x or 1 plus x. It doesn't matter. It's just bottom part is being multiplied by negative 1. But when you multiply by negative 1, then when you square the negative 1, it becomes positive. So what it is, let me see if I have the time to actually do that part. So I'm going to do the last step here to show you. Oh, where can I find the room? Let's do it here. Let's put this part in the bottom here, negative 3 squared, which is 9. And erase all of this. So 1 plus x is same as x plus 1. In the bottom I have negative 1 times x minus 1. And then square the whole thing. But of course, negative 1 squared, when you take negative 1 and you square it, it just becomes 1. So you end up with x plus 1 over x minus 1 whole squared, which is what you started out with. That's all. So in this area here, in this region here, I show you the classical work. But if you don't want to do the classical work, just plug in number. So I just plugged in 2 for x, and we were told to replace it by the reciprocal of it. So the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. So I replace 2 by 1/2 in this thing. So wherever I see x, I replace it. X is 2, but I replace it by 1 over 2. So this became 1 over 2 plus 1, and 1 over 2 minus 1. 1 over 2 plus 1 is 1 over 2. 1 over 2 plus 1 is just 1.5, which is right here, 3 over 2. And then half minus 1 is negative half. And then when you 3 halves times the reciprocal of this thing, which is negative 2 over 1, and the 2 cancels out, and so on and so forth. So you end up with 9, which is what we... And then when you put 2 in this expression, you also get 9, which is your answer, which is the first answer choice. This expression is the same as the first answer choice A. So when I went back to the answer choices, I replace wherever I see x, I replace it with 2, and I found out that A works. Even though A is the exact same thing that we started out with, apparently nothing happens to the expression. The nature of the expression is such that when you replace the x by 1 over x, nothing happens. Give me one more second again. But that was about it. Listen, if you wish to hire me, if you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, if you want to hire my services for personal private tutoring, or if you wish to buy my DVDs where I show you the solutions to all the problems, or if you wish to buy the solution manuals to the problem in this book, in any of those scenarios, if you wish to communicate with me, go to my website at www.prep4GMAT.com and send me an email. All right? Thank you.